I do have a jump to recipe option on mine because
can you explain that to me? Like this jump? Yeah, I'm not cooking. I mean, I cook, but I don't be using recipes.
You don't go online to look for the recipe?
Nah.
Y'all putting Kayla's personal business out here, okay? He cook what he know how to cook. And
I'm just that good.
Oh, you?
Bro, I don't need the recipe.
Our producer says time out.
I'm just that good. So it's like, cause y'all talking about these recipe links. I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about.
What's a recipe link?
Did you say imposter syndrome?
You got imposter syndrome?
I'm good. I'm confident in us.
Okay, your man said he cooking out here. Okay,
I need to go online.
Okay.
I need the internet.
Kaylin, tell me what it means when someone says they want multiple streams of income. Tell the people. Why do the people need multiple streams of income?
COVID says it all. What's the difference between having an LLC for your business and being trademarked?
For me, I'm trying to get multiple streams of income because I'm trying to retire early. 62, can't do it.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode on the Stream Chaser Show. You got myself, Kaylin.
And I'm Candace.
And we have officially hit the 1 year mark. 215. We started 215 and 21. And
yes, and it is
24
22
episodes later. And now, this is 25 now.
You're welcome.
Completed a full year. So before we even get started, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. We've seen the growth over the last year. So we couldn't do it without you. So again, thank you for all the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscribers. Because what I know, and I probably would be like a lot of some of these people out here. Like I got friends that be hitting me up and be like, I mess with the podcast. Like I mess with all the clips. I watch it on the YouTube, be pulling it up. Like literally this past weekend, people was like telling me like, yeah, I be watching on the YouTube. I pull it up in my house, watch it on the TV. And so then my other man was like, but did you subscribe? And then my other man was like, nah. He was like, because you got to log in and create an account.
Oh, okay.
So for all the subscribers that we do have, they actually had to go in
and create an
account. So we appreciate you for that because Candace was just filling us in on some other stuff that how hard it is to convert somebody.
Yeah. Converting
just for a like on Instagram. So the fact that we have a good amount of subscribers in 1 year, again, we just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. He say thank you. I say you're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, we bringing you value.
We have been paying.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have been paying.
Yes. So
but yeah. Again, just thank you. So before we, get into the real reason why we're here, we always got to tag up with each other. So Candace, what's been going on with you?
Let's see. The last couple weeks, what's been happening? I think I've been head down. Y'all know I got a new job, so I've been head down at work trying to make sure that I keep my job because that's important because it pay the bills. And just make sure I'm focused because when you move to a new environment, sometimes even if you're in the same career field, sometimes going to a new place, you feel like everybody's speaking French, and that's what it felt like for a little while. So now it's feeling like everybody's speaking Spanish, which I didn't take French, so that was a problem. I took Spanish, so it's like, okay, all right, I catch a word here and there, I be knowing some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've been doing a lot of that. Pretty Prince has picked back up, even though I don't know why, because I felt like we were still in holiday season, but the people, they're getting married. So I've been doing I had some press contacts, which I thought was interesting for Pretty Prince.
You said press?
Yeah, like so two magazines, wedding magazines reached out to me and was like,
media press.
Yes, media press, that kind of press. Yeah, reached out and was like, we want to write an article about traditional broom ceremonies. Tell us things. Can we mention you? Can you send us pictures? That kind of stuff. So I thought that was interesting. Answer some questions for the folks about that kind of thing.
Nice.
And then trying to put a little bit of effort into the DIY Instagram I opened on my house. Did I tell you about that? Okay. Well, I be watching the girls because the girls be on Instagram getting their houses redone. So if you're, I don't know, Instagram feeds you what you like. So I like DIY. I like house renovation type things. So I get fed a lot of that on my Instagram, right?
Gotcha.
Of girls just doing the things around the house. They painting, they this, they that. They upgrading their house from most of the time it's from like a builder grade house to like whatever their custom home desires are. And I'm a handsy girl, I'm a craftsy girl, so I was starting to do some stuff around my house, and then I just had the idea like, I should probably film and post this stuff. Maybe I'll do it under an Instagram name, and I brainstormed some names that had meaning to me and created a page. The thing about it is, you know, we were talking earlier about social media and like the way that you use social media and strategies around using social media. And like when you choose to do a page like that, right, where it solely exists for social media, then you really have to do the strategies, right? You really have to post every day. You really got to batch content. You really got to do that kind of stuff. Whereas like Pretty Prince exists without social media. Social media is something that helps it along, but it exists without it. This exists because of social media, right? And the hope is that, you know, the Home Depot girls and the Lowe's girls see me and say, hey girl, you want some free paint? The bear say, hey, I'll holler at you. So that's the hope, that you get to monetize little stuff like that. And in that, though, it means that you have to use the social media appropriately. Let me tell you something. Sis ain't been using it appropriately. Because what I found out is that this is not like, now I'm not disparaging anybody, but this is not like beating my face every day. This is like taking on a project, which takes time. You know what I'm saying? Amongst all the other things, like all the other things I got going on. So I have to figure out a way in which I can do that content, splice it into small sections. That way it does create enough content to feed the feed between projects. And each project takes a different amount of time. So it's not an exact science, but I don't have to work on that.
Gotcha.
So that, in essence, is what I've been doing, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
Listen, okay.
Because just one thing is a lot.
One thing is a lot. And listen, I be considering every day dropping some things, but I don't know what to drop. Is it my husband? Is it the kids? I'm not really sure, but you know, I be considering.
Gotcha.
How about you?
What have I been up to? Where we in? February. So things... like just trying to plan. It's always planning. Like so me and one of my friends, we always talking. It's like when you in business, like it don't matter. I mean, it matters. It's a win. Like you can clap and celebrate, but it's like just because you had one good month don't mean nothing. When you got to count on this, you know what I'm saying? It's not a for fun business. So it's just like planning and strategizing is constant. I mean, of course, I'm not putting in 24/7, but it's like that's the time and dedication that you have to put in to keep the boat just afloat. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of work. Just and like I think I may have mentioned this on the last episode, but you know, we have some new initiatives coming that we're just lining up, making sure all the pieces are together. So so yeah,
any luck on our space?
So we actually started going to look at some. So it has slowed down. Like around holiday season, just of course with the holidays, and then you know, what was it? The Omicron was running rampant, like crazy. You know, during the holiday season, December, January. So a lot of landlord or property managers wasn't even trying to show properties. You know, just for everybody's safety and stuff.
Understood.
So so pretty much just getting back to that. So we did see a space last weekend, but again, it's really trying to find the right one. You know, because of course we can settle or just choose a place. You know, but we don't want to settle. So just being patient.
Well, it's out there. You know how it is. The one will come to you.
Yep. You're right about that. But yeah, so now that we got that out the way, now we'll get into what y'all are here for. You know, I know y'all like to hear about what we've been up to, but
y'all don't care about what we
y'all are here to get paid and learn something new. Because one thing I do know, if you don't like business, you know, some people like business more than others. Everybody likes to eat. And especially in this area. Like I was just telling one of my coworkers the other day about businesses and stuff that you typically see in our area. But it's like it's amazing how many food places you see that are paying these expensive rents, leases, but they all seem to, do well for themselves.
Yeah.
But it's like, because a lot of people in this area love to eat and try the new foods.
And they expect good food in this area.
Expect good food, whether it's your seafood. And then because we're in such a diverse area, not necessarily PG County, but as a large, the DMV,
right.
You have people that want Thai, Korean, all that type of stuff. So it's not just your urban black soul food stuff.
Yeah.
People love to eat. So, what we're going to get into today, we got a special guest today. She goes by the name of Crystal. She has been able to tap into this whole food network of where she's able to get out and test these great restaurants and let you all know, us, the public, know what's the feedback. Is it good? This is the dish you should try. Whatnot. She has a long background in the food industry, being a home chef, working in different restaurants, being a manager of
Captain Cookie.
So she has a lot of experience.
Yes.
When it comes to just the food industry.
Yep.
And actually when I think about it, I would like to just pick her brain just on some of the health stuff that's involved, because for our listeners out there that are interested in that industry, it's more than just showing up with your food. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to get permits and all that type of stuff.
All the things.
But without ado, let's welcome Crystal to the show. We're glad to have you.
It's her. So when I met Crystal, she was working at, I'm probably gonna mess this up, and I don't think there may have been a place before this, but this is the first place I remember, is you were working as a line chef at Vermilion.
That is when we met. Yeah, that was
That's what I thought. Okay. I didn't know if there was a place before Vermilion, but I remember Vermilion because that menu was bomb. Okay. And they changed it up. So you kept coming back. And I kept coming back. Yes. Okay. I loved it. Like, it was like a little bit farm to table type situation. And then so monthly it was like, whatever's fresh. Like, is it the fall? Is it butternut squash? You just don't know. You got to go to find out. And I loved it.
Or tomatoes.
You just don't know. We don't know. So, Crystal, tell us, give me your background in food, like, because I know it goes back, because you got interested in food a long time, time ago. But tell us, I guess, your career trajectory in food, so that the people know that they're talking to an expert.
Oh, right.
Okay.
It started with my easy bake oven. No. So as an adult, so I did go to culinary school. It was Stratford University. Graduated in 2005 with a degree in culinary arts. So that's really where it truly started.
Okay.
So yeah, I was cooking professionally in restaurants for about 10 years. Just 3 restaurants in total, actually. So
really?
Okay.
So many more.
Only 3. Yeah, it was Penzamini. That was in Arlington. The other one was Vermilion. That was in Alexandria. And then the last one is Iron Gate. That's in DC.
Okay.
So at Iron Gate, I ended up being a sous chef.
Okay.
I will say, for anyone that's looking to work in restaurants, it is tough.
So I've always heard that term. Is like, what's the level? Because like, is that like the
that's
top?
not the person below.
Okay.
The head chef.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
So there's line cook. Then there's sometimes it's a junior sous chef. Then there's the sous chef. Then there's the head chef.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, I was kind of more like third in command just because of my experience. But yeah, I was still like, pretty much running some stuff.
You was up there.
Yeah, I was up there. Yeah. And then I left because personal stuff was going on with life, and I was like, this too much. I gotta go. But I knew that even when I was going to come back into the culinary field, I knew I was going to go back to doing culinary. Like, I knew that's what I had to do, regardless of what I was doing. If I was going to be a server somehow. If I was just going to be in the house, like, learning how to bake cupcakes or something, I knew I was going to do something with food. Like, that's my life.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I eventually did get hired for Captain Cookie. I got hired to be a store manager, but they saw like so much potential in me to do more than a store manager. They knew that they were expanding the company, so they said, "Hey, this is like a 4 or 5 year plan. Are you with it?" I said yes. So now I'm the general manager of Captain Cookie, and we're we're still expanding. And I'm like, I'm a busybody.
And how many stores is that?
Right now we have 3. We will be having 5 by the end of the summer.
Okay, look at that.
Nice.
My friend, y'all.
Yeah. So it's interesting, you know, as you're giving your background, because and it's like I've known you for a while now, but something that just came to me when you think about people that are into the food and culinary and stuff, they're always tapping into that stream of providing food. You have been able to tap into this whole new income stream, which we're going to get into, where again, you don't even got to cook the food.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's amazing in its own self, because we always talk about how you gotta use your hands a lot of times to make money.
Yes.
You ain't using your hands. I mean, you know, but not on this new income stream that you want.
Yeah.
So I think that's great right there.
So then COVID hit.
Oh, COVID.
And in the middle of COVID, so Crystal and I, for disclosure, are friends. We are in a group chat together, many group chats. And so there was a comment where it was like, one day she was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a food blog or something. And let's talk about names. And she started tossing names into the group chat. And we were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and it felt very, for us on the receiving end of the messages, felt very like sudden, like, oh, this is what she gonna do? Because as her friend, I've been trying to talk her into being a caterer for forever. So like, and she kept saying, no. And I kept saying, but you can cook though. And she kept saying, And so when she said, I'm gonna start a food blog, I was like, okay. I mean, I guess, sure, why not? Because she knows food, right?
Yeah.
But it just felt like very sudden. How long had you been thinking about that before you decided to do it?
Ooh, it was very much on a whim, because one thing, like with my personal page, I was already sharing some recipes like in my stories, like, hey guys, watch me make this chicken parmesan. Yeah. People will reply like, ooh, that looks good. Do you have a recipe? And I'm like, sure don't. Just watch what I'm doing. Let the ancestors tell you what to do right now. And also, whenever I would go out to eat, I would post it in my stories, and then people would ask like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, that, looks good. And even outside of social media, people reaching out saying, oh, Crystal, can you, I messed up this recipe. How can I fix it? And also in turn, hey, Crystal, I need to figure out somewhere to go for brunch for a birthday. What do you suggest? So just realizing how often I was being reached out to for food related stuff, I said, you know what? I'm following some food accounts, so let me kind of do what they're doing. Just make a separate page that's strictly for food.
Gotcha.
So for restaurants and for recipes. And,
Gotcha.
And that's where the Skinny Food Horror was born.
I love it. I do. And so did you start the Skinny Food Horror with the objective of doing restaurant reviews and critiques? Did you start with the objective of sharing food blog recipes, or did you say off the bat, I'm going to do both?
My plan was to do both, but so interestingly enough, so the plan was to do both recipes and restaurants was my plan, right? So I started my food account. I believe my 2-year anniversary for it is coming up in the next like week or two. Okay. So as we know, 2 years ago, at the end of February, beginning of March, that's when it was
that's when it shut down. Yeah.
So my plan was to do more recipes and do dining in like fancier restaurants whenever I would go out, or maybe like brunch or something like that. That took a turn. It ended up because restaurants were getting shut down. Everyone was only doing takeout. So by default, I had to do takeout orders or fast casual spots. Which at the time I'm like, okay, doesn't matter. I still want to show people where I went to go get food. But in the end, it worked out because everyone was looking for a good meal that they didn't have to cook, that they can just go to a restaurant and get that good quality meal and take it home and feed the family and stuff like that. And then also people were looking for stuff to cook because everyone was in the house. Right. Everyone stuck in the house. Like, the whole, everyone had that, let's make brioche and sourdough phase. Everyone just became random
bread.
Chefs.
There was a lot of bread happening on the internet.
many loaves.
Exactly.
Got you.
Okay. So now my question is, okay, so you start the Skinny Food Horror. You had never had a social media page for purpose before that.
Exactly.
How did you decide how to make your social media strategy? Because I'd like to know, I'm about to pull it up. You have grown quite nicely in 2 years.
And you know what's great? I definitely have imposter syndrome because in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, cool. I'm almost at 6,000 followers. Okay, whatever.
There
but
you
everyone
go.
else is like, no, Crystal, you're amazing. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah, you said you only had this page for 2 years.
For 2
right?
years, literally 2 years, and it's at 5,600 followers.
Yeah.
So tell me about your social media strategy, if you will, and how you developed that strategy, if you have one.
Oh yeah. It definitely took some trial and error for sure.
Okay.
I really, honestly, my strategy didn't really come into play until about a year ago. That's when I realized, like, okay, you have to know your audience. That's really what it is. You have to know your audience. And my audience is there for me when it comes to easy recipes and some good to-go orders.
Right.
And they're also there for the comedy. So one thing that I would say makes a difference between me and other food bloggers, whether they are restaurant reviewers or recipe developers, I feel like my personality shows a lot more than others because, you know, they're a lot more cookie cutter, like, oh, you just take the
Too
flour,
serious.
2 teaspoons of salt.
Yeah, that's how I be feeling when I see
like, nah, throw some salt in there.
Yeah.
Go like this. Throw the
Yeah.
No, like
Yeah.
like food is fun. Like, I like to have fun when it comes to food.
Right.
When I'm at a restaurant or cooking it. Like, that's the one thing that my followers reach out to me and they say, they're like, Crystal, I love your page because, like, your personality shows. And then even when some people meet me in person, they're like, wait, you're really like this in person.
That's what they don't know. That's the thing.
They're like, you really like this? I'm like,
It is 100% the same person that you see, like, making the reels. Like, you know how some people, like, put on, like, they gotta juice themselves up to do the reel.
Man.
No,
That's Crystal.
That's literally me. Just
I don't even know if she has an off button, but that's Crystal.
I know when I'm sleepy.
And that's it.
When I'm sleepy or hangry, that's when I'm like, nope, can't do this. Need food or nap.
So in monetizing social media, have you found a way to do that? Are you monetizing your social media?
It definitely took a while. So yeah, like I mentioned, like this last year was really when I saw like progress for real, which is probably why I'm still in denial about what I'm doing. But yeah, because there's a couple of ways to monetize, and the main way that I'm monetizing now is because of me reviewing takeout spots. So it's one monetizer for doing for the Washington City paper, writing for them. That's the true actual income. And then the other ones are places reaching out to me and saying, hey, can you stop by and try us out? Food is on us. So I kind of I mark that as
it's monetization
because I'm like, oh, I just spent $100 today.
Right.
I got a 3-course meal or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it's definitely been. That first year, I was just like, oh, I'm just having fun until I learned that these
It's getting
food
serious.
bloggers actually make money. I'm like, they get paid for this stuff?
Gotcha.
I was just doing it for fun. I'm like, okay, well, if I get paid for it, then all right, cool, because I'm gonna still do it because I like what I do. But it ended up paying off. It's like, oh, people are actually like giving me free food or like paying me for stuff to promote them and things like that.
So when you first started 2 years ago, and like you said, you had this idea, it was like, I think I'm gonna just start blogging or at least posting about it, you know. Like, what was your strategy when it came to like going out to the, you know, these restaurants and stuff? 'Cause like you said, COVID had hit, you know, so a lot of people was in the house, but you kind of just hit on it, like people were drawing to your page. So like, but of course you had to go to a restaurant like 1 week, 2 weeks, or like how did you come up with that strategy on like, all right, I'm gonna go to this restaurant, spend my hard-earned money on this food to post it, but like consistency is everything on social media. So like, how did you come up with that strategy on like, all right, I'm gonna just do it once a week, twice a week, you know, like that?
That's a very good question. So the first year, it was, because at that time, it was just a hobby. It was just me showing people like, hey, I went here. I recommend this place. So it was really just anytime that I went out to buy lunch.
Just going,
like,
gotcha.
My lunch. I took this home for dinner. You guys should get the chicken. That's really what it was initially, until I started seeing more people say, oh, I went to that place that you got that sandwich for lunch. It was near my my office. I had to go in to grab some stuff for work to take back home, and I grabbed a sandwich on the way. It's so good. I'm like, oh, you guys are like using my recommendations for real. Okay. So there was no real plan. It was just more so initially me just saying, This is why I went
you just
for
have
lunch.
just posting.
Yeah. So I would say now my plan is I try to do something new once a week.
Of all three, because you said you do comedy videos, you do recipes, and then you do reviews.
Yep.
So you try to do all, or at least one of each.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, each week I put up a reel that's like comedy related or a recipe video, one of those two. I'll post a new recipe or an updated recipe, and then I'll also post a place that I've gone to recently, or maybe just like a, hey guys, remember I went to this place a month ago? I still recommend it. You should go.
Just to reuse some old content.
Yeah, because that's the other.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. You gotta reuse content. Gotta reuse.
Just repurpose it. Yeah.
Repurposing is the key.
Interesting.
Keep that in mind.
I shall write this down. Yeah, I have to write that down. Yeah. Say repurposing content. Oh my god.
Yeah, because some people will reach out. They're like, "Dang, Chrissy, weren't you just there 3 weeks ago?" And I'm like, no, this is a picture from 3 weeks ago. Like I don't go to this place every 2 weeks. Sometimes I do. Some places I do.
Oh yeah.
Some I do. But yeah, most of the time when I post something on my feed, I might have gone 3 weeks before. I might have gone 2 months before, and I'm just pointing out again, like, hey y'all, I'm still thinking about this chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
Go get the chicken.
Yeah. No, I'm all the way with you, because I remember 2 years ago when Mickey's company first started.
Okay.
And you searching for content, like you said, because content is a hard thing.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're starting off, because you don't have no content.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, what am I going to use for content? And I remember like driving myself crazy trying to come up with like different content, like every content has to be different, until somebody told me the same thing, like, you need to start reusing some of that same stuff that you posted 6 weeks ago. And it's like, never thought. I mean, I thought of it, but I was on that side of like, I'm not doing that because I want everything to be new.
Yeah.
Until I was like, ain't nobody got time for that. And then when you look at some of those bigger,
if you scroll back, just
they be doing like they'll post the same thing 5 times in the same month sometimes.
Yeah.
Not even in the stories. And just change the little paragraph.
And even sometimes, like, I've noticed it with like celebrity accounts. Me just like, oh, I haven't seen this person's account before. Let me just scroll, and I see like a really cute picture of someone in a bathing suit, and they're like posing. I'm like, that's cute. Scroll back a little bit more. Same picture, same location on the boat, but they posted right. I'm like, did they go to vacation in the same spot like twice in 4 months? No, they did not. It's just
reuse content. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting because, you know, I guess the way the algorithm works is that it is likely that even if you post it the first time, there are people who didn't see it the first time. I mean, you got you got people who are like locked into your page who will see every post that you make, but most likely somebody missed it the first go round anyway.
Right.
That is exactly. It took me a while to learn that when there were certain food bloggers that I would follow. And I'm like, oh, I love their content. And it was maybe a specific recipe and a specific picture that I just fell in love with. And I was like, this is the best picture ever. And then 5 months later, I'm like, why are they posting that again? Do nothing new. That's when I realized that's how you have to repurpose. They're not, these food bloggers are not making new recipes 3 times a week.
Right.
They're doing like, some may be doing 1 a week, that's kind of normal, like 1 a week. But even then, at some point, some food bloggers are doing like 1 recipe a month, but they're sharing all of their old recipes to show newer followers, like, hey, make this, make that, make this, make that. So that's, repurposing. That's the key.
Is the key.
That is the key.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so one side of your, and I'm going to get to your takeout critiques and all the things because I got questions.
All right.
But so one side of your social media, and it's interesting that we're talking because we were just saying this in the intro, and y'all be thinking I be connecting things, but I don't. We were just talking about social media, people who create social media accounts like for purpose, like, and your business kind of exists within the realm of social media. And then there's that side of your business where you're creating recipes and you're creating reels and you're doing all the things, right? And then you also though have created a website where you house your recipes.
Yes.
Are you monetizing that at this point?
Not yet.
Okay.
That takes, it's like a whole math problem of science and numbers everywhere. That takes a lot of work.
Okay.
And what I eventually learned is that for some food bloggers, it takes them at least a year. If they're lucky, it takes at least a year for them to monetize on their blogs because you have to have enough people coming to your website that had to be staying on there for a certain amount of time. They have to, sometimes you got to make sure that people subscribe to your newsletter. There's a bunch of factors that come into eventually monetizing. So I will say one thing. So you know how there's always people are, and I complained at one point also. You go into a website to look for a recipe, and there's always like this long post, and you're like, I don't care about the backstory. I just want the recipe. The reason why that blog post is so long is to keep you on the page longer. The longer you're on that website, the more likely that person is to get paid. And sometimes you go onto a site and you see those ads pop up, and you're like, okay, why is this ad here? Why did this pop up? That blogger got paid because you saw that ad. Not even because you clicked it, just because you scrolled and then you saw that ad for a random T-Mobile ad, and you're like, why is this on here? Whatever, I'm gonna keep scrolling. That blogger got paid, even if it was just cents.
A couple
they got
cents,
paid because you just happened to scroll past and see that random T-Mobile ad.
I'm gonna tell you what, those ads on those websites are the most annoying. Like, I don't know, but
people get paid.
And I wish there was a different way to format them, because I honestly don't mind that they're there. One day I scrolled past one that, like, when you scroll past it, it blew up. Like, it got really big and it turned into a video, and I couldn't like scroll off of it. I was like, what is happening? I was like, it's one thing when you could scroll past it, but like, I think by the act of you scrolling over it, it blew. It was like, it's new tech, right? It got big, and it was like, watch this 20-second video, and I was like, I want to scroll past. I just want to get to the recipe. Exactly, that's all. I'm trying to get to the bottom. It was so I had to refresh the page and like try to figure out how to scroll past. I flipped my phone the long way and was like, it was crazy. Yes, but I say that to say that's funny, because a lot of, so I know that to be a thing. I figured that was a thing, right? Why else would the ads be there? So I wonder if any food bloggers have an issue with that jump to recipe button. A lot of them have it, and I wonder how they feel about it, because it's like, you want to give the people what they want. They want to get to the recipe, but also I want to keep these people on my page.
No, that's a very good question. And so, like I said, I haven't monetized yet, so I can't tell you my experience. I do have a jump to recipe option on mine, because
can you explain that to me? Like this jump? Yeah, I'm not cooking. I mean, I cook, but I don't be using recipes.
You don't go online to look for the recipe.
Nah.
Y'all putting Kayla's personal business out here, okay? He cook what he know how to cook. And
I'm just that good.
Oh, you?
Bro, I don't need the recipe.
Our producer says time out.
I'm just that good. So it's like, cause y'all talking about these recipe links. I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about.
What's a recipe link?
Did you say imposter syndrome?
You got imposter syndrome?
I'm good. I'm confident in us.
Okay, your man said he cooking out here. Okay,
I don't need to go online.
Okay,
I need the internet. Okay, so Kayla, so how the internet works, right? When you type in a recipe, say you want to look up how to make meatloaf, type in meatloaf, a recipe or a bunch of recipes will pop up. You know, you type in a Google recipe, you'll see a lot of them. Usually the ones that you see in the first 4 are the top performing ones. Those are the ones that more people click on.
Gotcha.
So you click on that. Usually at the very top of that website, it'll say jump to recipe. You click that, it'll take you to the very bottom of the page so that you don't have to go through.
Okay, got you like that. Okay.
So it's literally just a jump button.
Yeah, just to get you
to the bottom of the page. Yeah, and so every once in a while, and the reason I asked the question was because I am a pretty confident cook as well, but I prize variety in my life. Yep. So I like to go out there and see what's new. I don't know that some people have like a rotation in their house. Like on Tuesdays we have spaghettis. On Wednesday we do this. We don't have that because I constantly crave something different. Yep. So so I constantly look at recipes, and a lot of times I just use them to like format my brain. But anyway, point of the matter is, I've come across a lot of them that do have the jump to recipe button. Yeah. And then I've come across a few that do not. Like, they don't do it. You gonna scroll through these ads.
They want you to scroll.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, I guess, it's fine.
Yeah. So to answer your question, so I would say food bloggers prefer to not have that jump to recipe, because that jump to recipe, that's another like 15 seconds of scrolling for some.
It is.
Which to me, 15 seconds is nothing. It's just
yeah.
But to others, it's like, I got it. There's no jump to recipe button. I'm going to go to another recipe. So that's the difference. It's like
that is a thing.
It keeps them on the page to jump to the recipe versus keeping them on the page just to back right back out.
Gotcha.
So it's just kind of like we got to deal with it. Okay, at least they're on my page, possibly using my recipe, and then eventually rating my recipe, and eventually the ratings will push me up on that Google page when I type in meatloaf. I'll be in the top 4 instead of the bottom. There's probably hundreds of meatloaf recipes out there. I didn't even about to look that up.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's really what the goal is to be like when you type in meatloaf, be in that top search. So that top search, they're making the most money with people on that page because it's 4 things you see. You're not going to scroll through and you're like, 4 recipes. I'm going to pick one of those 4.
Yes. So now we got the blog where you are doing recipes and we will monetize soon. Yes. We are doing recipe development on the website, on the Instagrams. We're doing the reels on the Instagrams. And then you're doing your takeouts that you do and you do on your own. But tell me about, because recently my friend was on TV. So tell me how we got to TV and how is that connected to the Washington City paper? Like, tell me what's happening there.
Yeah, so it is directed. I mean, it is about the city paper. So, so this position. So just as a background, so for the city paper, I am a carry-out food critic, not to be confused with carry-out. It's not the carry-out. It is carry-out because DC is the only one that thinks of carry-out being like the Chinese takeout.
Right.
Everywhere else in the country, it's to-go orders is carry-out.
Carry-out. When she first said she was going to critique carry-outs, I was like, how much shrimp fried rice can you eat?
You literally said that.
Yeah. I was like, this does not make sense to me. I don't get it.
You literally said, I was like, no, guys, no, not the carry-out.
I was like, you going to Mama San's every day? I don't get it.
And Eddie's.
Yeah, no. But anyway, continue.
Yes, so I'll say that's what my which it aligned perfectly with what I was already doing for my my Instagram. So our friend Kim, she actually tagged me in their Instagram post saying, "Hey, we have this position available as a carry-out food critic. Here's the pay." Like they put the pay in there, everything. And she tagged me now. She was like, "This is perfect for you." And I looked at the description of everything, and I was like, "I literally already do this. This will not be me doing any extra work." It's just me now getting paid to do.
Come on, additional stream of income.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll apply. They didn't give any specific details on how to apply other than to email. So I gave them my website. I tagged my Instagram. Gave them some of the specific posts. That's what I did. I shared the link for a specific post to say, hey, here's my pictures. Here's what I wrote about them. Things like that. So so that was my first like real job for the food related stuff, I would say. So fast forward to me being on TV the other day. So the lead director, when she reached out to hire me, she said, hey, like apparently this position is a big deal. We've had so many applicants. We didn't realize how big this was possibly going to be.
The food critic.
The food critic, specifically for the carry out food critic, right? Because they were like, wow, we didn't realize that people were really going to be interested in this. And not just readers, but also the media got wind of the position, and they reached out before anybody was even hired and said, hey, when this position gets filled, please reach back out because we want to meet this person or do an interview or do a ride along or something.
Gotcha.
So I didn't even know this was happening. I didn't even know I had the job. It was just when she reached out. She was like, by the way, there's some news outlets that's been reaching out. So if you want to do that, let me know. And I'm like, I'm down. Just give me some time to get used to this thing. Yeah. And then eventually after a couple of articles, she was like, hey, are you used to it now? Because they still wanted me. And I'm like, I forgot about that from a couple of months ago. So that's how WUSA, they were the first ones to reach out when the position got posted. So before I got hired, when the position got posted, they were like, hey, we see that you hired somebody. So what's up?
So when you had the TV interview, were you able to, were you on there more so as like a brand as yourself? Or did you have to represent
the city paper?
I luckily got to do a bit of both.
Okay,
so it was more so for the city paper, but what does help me for my brand for the city paper is you can still kind of see my voice in what I'm writing, which again, that's important for me to be myself in the article. I'm not cookie cutter any of that. Like you're gonna see my lingo in that write up. Which again, a lot of readers are seeing that and they're like, yo, like I like what you wrote.
Right.
I went out there and got that big old potato you was talking about.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get more media stuff now because all the outlets are watching each other.
They all do.
So if they see that, you know, WSA, you said, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, they had that critic on, you know, last month. They might wait 2 months, but they definitely gonna be following up,
repurposing content.
Right. They thinking now like July would be a good month because that's when everybody gonna be grilling, or May or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would definitely be coming. I'm sure. So.
I'm sure. Yeah. Every day, I've definitely been checking my my email a lot more lately, so I'm not missing anything important. But yeah, this position definitely opened up a lot more doors for me. Like ever since I got the position and it was announced, I think that was November it was announced. Yeah, November. Like even the lead editor, Laura, she told me, she was like, this is going to be something big for you. Like this is the start of something very big for you. And I'm like, again, imposter syndrome. Oh, okay, cool. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Sure. Fine. 2 months later, hey, you're going to be on TV. Oh. Things are happening. Okay.
Getting real.
Okay.
So have y'all ever heard, like, you know, just in conversations with your friends or people say that they would love to be a food critic? Have y'all ever heard people say that ever?
I mean, it's so funny.
Like as a joke or...
Yeah, I was about to say what's funny is, so y'all know Reese, my cousin Reese from episode, I don't know, what's the number?
Been on here a couple times.
She's been on here a few times, right?
Reese,
yeah. Reese, we always joke that we're writing so I'd be like, oh, did you see Popeyes had a new article? I mean, that new chicken sandwich or that new whatever. Did you get over there to try that? She's like, girl, you know I got to try it for my column. And we always joke that we must try all the things because she, like me, is variety, spice of life. And we always joke about this column that we write. And that was before Crystal got the thing. It was like always, you know I got to try it for my column because I'm over here putting on pounds. It must be for the column. Like, I have to do it. Yeah.
But so that leads to my next question to Crystal.
Yeah.
Because before any of your followers like really, you know, like really start tapping into you from your personal page. So I'm going back to your personal page.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you were just doing it for fun, like posting little food stuff, you know, here and there, like they may or may not necessarily knew that you were like had professional skills and cooking and stuff like that. So like, could anybody get into this world of being a food critic if you are consistent and actually literally show up every day to say, hey, I'm about to be a food critic starting tomorrow? Can
Reese have a column? That is the question.
Yeah, I mean, because
that's a very good question.
Because if I'm not cooking, or did they ever check that for you? Like, hey, well, how authentic are you really, or are you just posting nice pictures on the gram?
That's a very good question. Yeah, so I would definitely say this food blogging career is not for everybody. Okay, is it fun? Hell yeah, it's fun. But you have to really love food. So there's a difference between loving to eat food and actually loving food. Gotcha. So there's some
that's a little gem right there.
Explain. I'm thinking.
Here it is. Here it goes. All right. And I'll even use you as an example, okay? So let's think about our friend group. Okay. We all are greedy. We love food. But we all cannot be food bloggers. No. Because we all love our food, but the one difference between me is I understand like the process of cooking food. I understand what goes on in the kitchen. I want to know the history of the restaurant. I want to know how they came up with the menu item names, like the sign, like everything. I understand food and I want to know more about it versus just, ooh, that salmon looks good and it tastes great. Yeah. There's a difference. So like even you understand like a little bit more of the science and you know like, oh, let me mix this spice with that spice versus someone else that's just like, I want to make Alfredo because I like to eat food. So it's the difference between just like, oh, I just like to eat food because I love how food tastes. It's really, I love to eat food. I love to know food. I want to learn more about food. It's a learning process. Like I'm learning so much. Even with me being in the game for as long as I've been in the game, I'm still learning so much and just trying to stay up with like the food trends for cooking and going out to eat,
because there are trends.
It's always changing.
Because that's another thing, and I think that's what I see on the Instagram. On the Instagram, I sound like an old person. On the Instagram, are the trends in food, like right what people are doing. Like it's just there's an uptick in like the types of recipes you see and the types of blogging you see, and then there are always people who can do their own thing no matter what, like the wild cards, but you see trends flowing through the industry, and it is interesting. It's interesting. And like, so another trend that I see beyond like, okay, so you got the blogs, right? You got the people doing the blogs, you got the Instagrams and the TikToks and whatnot, but and the TikToks, okay, TikToks. And then but another trend, now I done lost my train of thought. Oh, another trend that I see is people who decide to go straight to food trucks, right? Because restaurants are expensive. If you ask anybody who's in business, like, or who knows anything about business or went to business school, they will tell you most restaurants fail. It's just it's a statistic. It is what it is. Even if you think about it in the DMV, how fast places cycle out, right? It was this restaurant, now it's that restaurant. It was that lounge, now it's this one, because they're all restaurants and they just cycle through. So some people have decided to test the waters, if you will, using a food truck. Yep. Tell me your thoughts.
Glad you asked that also. No, a food truck is a good way to do it. It's a mobile kitchen. You don't really have to pay rent on it. I mean, you may have to pay rent somewhere to keep your truck like in a lot or something, or maybe you'll pay a cheap rent for to use a space in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, like a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, like a commercial kitchen. Yeah, but you're bringing up food trucks. That's not really a new trend.
It's not a new. It's not a new trend. It is a. I guess
it's popular.
It's a more popular trend, because at one point,
go ahead.
When we were young and we were in school, you go down to the Lincoln Memorial. You go down there, and the food trucks were like hot dogs, ice cream, blah blah blah. Maybe you might find a taco, but it was real like this. Yeah. And then the food trucks went to like, they got a little bit more fancy.
Yeah, like and literal restaurants.
Like little restaurants out of a truck. And it's like now you would be lax to find a place who didn't start, unless it's fine dining. It's hard to find a place who didn't start in a truck then go to a restaurant.
Yeah, a lot of fast casual spots usually start as a Captain Cookie started out as a food truck.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Look at that. The things you learn. Interesting.
The more you know.
But if you even go back to when we had Win on our live session, she says because like you said, restaurants go out of business. It's a lot of overhead that I don't think a lot of people realize from the business side.
No, because I can cook.
Yeah, and you can cook.
I can make these collards, so I know I can have me a collard green restaurant.
It ain't always about
sometimes
the chef.
Like me and my friends say this all the time. Everybody not made to be in business,
but I can cook.
You may just be the head chef.
Oh,
okay. Exactly.
Somebody else, you can wear that hat.
Yeah.
Somebody else needs to run the business.
You trying to tell me
that's exactly
just because my collard greens is banging, I can't have a restaurant?
That's exactly how it works.
But Wynn broke it down so good. She said, I don't care if you got the money basically to jump right into the big old restaurant or even just a little 1,200 square foot like we see in a shopping center, but it's like levels.
Yep.
Like, get the food truck. No, it was a step even before the food truck.
I think it was a step before the food truck.
Yeah, it was a step before the food truck, but like just trying to generate
like catering, like
just like get a customer base, then maybe get a food truck.
Yep.
Then
you get a little
you may
storefront.
be ready. Yeah. But it's like levels.
The new trend. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but it's definitely blown up over the last 2 years because of
COVID,
takeout.
Right.
Ghost kitchens.
I was just about to ask you about that.
What the hell is a ghost
kitchen?
I
actually want to get a ghost kitchen.
What is one of those?
Those work out for a lot of people. She's like, what that is?
They make some money.
What is it?
So a ghost kitchen is basically so think of. You want to go to a place to order some food to go. They do not have a storefront. You have to place the order online. They don't have a phone number to place the order. Like, it's strictly place the order online. You go up to the location that most likely doesn't even have a name.
Okay.
You'll knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm here to pick up an order for Candace," and then they'll hand you the order. Or maybe there's a table out front with how Panera has that stand with the names listed with the back. She is like my. Have you been anywhere before?
Yeah, I do not understand. It does not compete.
How did you not?
So wait a minute. Let me think about this.
You haven't heard of ghost kitchens before?
No. Oh my god.
I promise you probably. No, it's very funny because usually what happens is it's always in a commercial kitchen.
So is it like so from the business side of this is are you telling me that there are several people operating out of one commercial kitchen? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because and you kind of hit on it, but I learned this 3 or 4 years ago. One of my mans got a food truck.
Okay.
Nice. And I asked him, I was like, why don't you be out, you know, like more, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he told me one about the permits, you know, because it's like a fight for it in DC.
Yeah, your space.
Yeah. It's a fight for the space. But then he was hipping me to the whole commercial kitchen thing.
Yep.
So like his truck is a barbecue truck.
Okay.
Wait, what truck is it? I probably had it before.
Maybe. I'll show you afterwards.
Okay,
I'll show you afterwards.
It's about me and about him. All right,
but he was tipping me to how much money he loses because he has to go to somebody's house, and it was a great business move on this lady.
Okay.
She had enough space in her house where she was able to convert a basement into a whole commercial kitchen.
Okay.
But it's like, I guess it's permits and stuff like that. And it's really like, because honestly, it's like, well, who gonna catch me? But you want to do things the right way. And granted, you can prep your ribs in your own kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you got to have these commercial kitchens. This ghost kitchen that she's talking about is a great opportunity for business people like us.
Okay.
I literally was at work 2 days ago Googling ghost kitchens in PG County. Because I'm trying to see, is there many out there?
So I'm going to read y'all the definition because maybe y'all are as confuddled as me. A ghost kitchen is a professional food preparation and cooking facility set up for the preparation of delivery-only meals.
Yep.
Some ghost kitchens have allowed takeout meals or include drive-thrus. They do not include a storefront or indoor seating for customers. So it is literally just a space. That's a kitchen.
That's it.
but now
how does that work?
But now you have a storefront feel. So say if it's Candace Caged Foods,
okay,
or whatever, and you got the kitchen on Saturday at noon, instead of you having to drive to my house to drop off these deliveries, or like Z was telling us that he started with the clothing. It's like, hey, beat me in Forestville Mall. Y'all can get the joints. It's like, come to the kitchen, to this spot. This is where we are. Now you look a little bit more professional.
Okay.
Because we're at the kitchen. And we're
at the kitchen. We're prepping it in the kitchen.
Okay. So it's almost like when I'm going to use a name just because I don't know how else to do this.
Okay.
When Crab Boss first started, when he very first started, he used to do like pop-ups. Like he didn't have a location. Now he was on a truck, so I'm sure he had to go to a kitchen first and then put it on the truck. But it was like you only could catch him on certain days at certain times. And I always wondered what that was about. I wondered if it was because he had another full-time job and so he couldn't. But now I'm learning that it was most likely because he was slotted in a kitchen at a certain time.
Yep, that's definitely also a thing. Yeah, a lot of businesses do not have 24 access to the kitchen that they're prepping out of. Some do.
Okay.
Some don't.
Okay.
So you do have to be selective as far as like to be in this kitchen Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those will be your operating hours also.
Okay.
And while we're in here prepping, if somebody wants to place an order for one of these plates that I'm prepping for, they can go online, place an order, come pick it up. Or a delivery driver will come pick it up and take it to them.
Interesting.
So it sounds weird, but it's literally they're making orders out of the area that they're prepping in.
Okay. Here's my next question. How big are these kitchens? Like, is
the
it
commercial
that
kitchen?
two companies prep in the kitchen space at the same time?
Dozens.
Oh, dozens can prep in the kitchen.
Yep.
Do you get where I'm going from the business side? Like
many companies.
Y'all seen Kaylin lead in and was like, "Hey, do you see what I'm saying to you?"
So I said this maybe about 3 or 4 episodes ago that 4 years ago I had this amazing like creative space idea. But one of the things in there was commercial kitchen.
Oh, I do remember
because
you
to
saying
me, it's creative. Because like when you hear of creative, everybody thinks of photography, artists, you know, graphic. But it's like
you don't think of food.
Culinary is a creative thing. Like y'all getting in there.
Culinary
doing
arts.
Y'all are doing y'all thing in there.
Arts. Exactly.
Y'all are doing y'all thing, but that was one of the things that I wanted in there.
I had literally never heard of a ghost kitchen until today at this moment. I was today years old when I heard of a ghost kitchen. I promise you.
You just learned something.
So, and then now let me one more question.
Okay.
Before we wrap this ghost kitchen situation up. So there really isn't a difference between a ghost kitchen and a commercial kitchen, other than the fact that most of the time, a commercial kitchen is in the restaurant that is being used. So when you go to sit down, that's the kitchen. And a ghost kitchen is just a kitchen that can be used by many people. And
yes and no.
Okay.
So commercial kitchens can have ghost kitchens, if that makes sense. So there's people doing they have this, but
really,
So it's like the one of the Captain Cookie stores is in a food hall, but most of that building is a commercial kitchen. And I think there's maybe like 5 or 6 other ghost kitchens that's operating out of there, but customers cannot go back there. It is like the customer will either look on that shelf to see if the order is there, or they gotta wait until an employee comes out and they're like, "Hey, are you Samantha? Here you go."
Wow, interesting. So just a way to do fast casual without seating. I mean,
exactly. Yep. And for a lot of like newer businesses, it's a better option as far as the pricing goes, because you're not paying for a full restaurant.
You're not paying for servers. You're not paying for a hostess. You're not paying for all of that. You're only paying
your kitchen staff.
Interesting. Now what I would say about that is, I like it from a business perspective. If I was a restaurateur, right, or wanting to be a restaurateur, I could see that being difficult, because part of the food experience can sometimes be the experience. Yeah. Right? Like I would say that it might be hard to find, and we talked about this earlier, like customer conversion, right? Yeah. From the time a customer first sees you to the time that they actually buy from you or follow you, if you have a social media business, can be lengthy. Like sometimes people see you. I know me, I be stingy with my follows. I was telling Kayla earlier, like I seen this dude, he was funny, and I was like, ha ha ha, funny. The second time I seen him, I was like, ha ha ha, heart, funny. But it took me like 3 times before I actually went to his page to like, and then I scrolled his page and like checked some things out, and then I said follow. And all of this, he wasn't asking me to buy a thing. It was just a follow for a funny dude. Content, right? And it took all of that. I just did like a whole background search on this man before I hit follow. So imagine trying to get somebody to buy a food from you, right? Like, how many touch points would you have to have with a customer when you're a brand new restaurant? You don't have a place, like a physical place for them to come and like experience a place. It's just food alone. How many touch points do they have to have, or would they have to have before, they finally decide to like spend money on this carryout plate? Unless they got a recommendation from Crystal.
It's all about promoting themselves.
Call the carryout critic.
Call Crystal. She's gonna tell you where to go.
That if you have somebody like Crystal to vouch for you, but it's just like, again, I see in our area the food industry is just different.
Yeah, definitely.
So like people love to eat. So like another one of my mans, like
the pizza mans.
The pizza.
I knew it. I knew he was going to talk about it. I want to try his pizza.
Did I tell you about him before?
Yeah, but not on air.
Okay, got you.
I love pizza, by the way.
Yeah. Man. So I'm gonna have to connect everybody. I can't think of his Instagram now, but I'm blown about it. But his name is Wes Pinkney. Just if it's out there.
I've seen his page. The Detroit pizza.
Yeah, literally just started this joint.
Okay.
Like, and right where he's doing now is pulling up to your house, dropping it off. Okay. But it's like professional. You know what I'm saying? But it's like everybody is like reposting, sharing that joint. But it's like some people ain't even experienced the joint, but because Candace posted it, Crystal done posted it, I'm posting it now, and you seeing people, it's like, dang, he got people up all the way up the Beltway. It ain't just the local area no more. So it's like, you'll make it. Just by.
I mean, being in this area, food is a thing, right? Like people love food. Important. They want to try food. It's important. I just saw an article the other day saying that we like the #1 city for brunch in the country because we take brunch very seriously.
It's a sport.
It is really a sport, and if it don't include unlimited mimosas, it's not a brunch.
Something has to be unlimited, either the plates or the mimosas.
Come with it, because otherwise, take it back.
Otherwise, it's just breakfast.
Otherwise, it is just breakfast. So with that, though, with us being so entrenched in the food industry, you do see, though, we always encourage stream chasers, like, go after your streams, right? Like, think about your streams for multiple ways. Like, Crystal didn't just say, I do catering, because I tried to get her to do that, right? She went about it a different way. You know, your food critic and the people calling you, they want you to come do the reviews and all the things, and I got a question about that in a second. Yeah. But, like, I say that to say, also, though, think it all the way through, because while we see lots of food, we also see lots of food. Like, the turnover is real. So you can burn through some cash if you open a restaurant half-assedly. I don't know how else to say it, and your tail just flapping in the wind because you didn't think it all the way through.
Yeah, right. Real quick before we tap on that, I just want to plug in the guy with the food truck. So my man Real. So his Instagram name is Dukes Q. But it's like I'll be able to show you, you know, once it's over. But
see that,
he got the big fancy nice food truck. Be doing the thing.
Do the things. I seen the food truck the other day when they opened it up. It had like you open up the front and it's like a floor situation. I was like, they are doing a
them
thing.
things cost some money.
Trucks,
like, it's almost like opening a storefront.
Yeah, it's literally they have to make it's a kitchen. Literally on wheels. Like it'll break, the oven will break down just like it will in a professional kitchen. It's
now, ain't that
same
sad?
Exact stuff. You got to change that oil in that fryer. You got to clean that flat top. You got to clean it every night.
I cleaned the oil in the fryer at McDonald's when I was 14.
Ooh, that's trash.
And I burnt myself. I had a hash mark on my hand from the fry basket for like 2 weeks. Yes. Let me tell you, it was there. It was a long time. And I'm trying to tell you, it ain't no joke in the kitchen. So let me ask you just randomly.
Okay.
Maybe not so random.
It's probably not random.
But if you go review a restaurant and you don't like what you had, what do you do?
Ooh, that's a very good question. Okay, so I get asked this a lot.
Okay.
I only post stuff on my page that I recommend.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. So there's been a couple of restaurants that I've been to and I post something specific. And I'm like, hey, this is what I had. I like this. I like this. I like this. There's been times where I will say I've lucked out. I've never been to a place where I'm like, this is disgusting. There's some stuff that I try where I'm like, okay, this ain't my cup of tea. I'm not going to recommend it because I don't like this, but maybe somebody else did or somebody else maybe will like it. But I put on my page what I recommend. So, yeah, I forgot which restaurant I went to. It was about a year ago. I posted specific stuff. Because we all of us that were there, we all agreed that everything was good. We didn't order anything different, but everything that we had there was good. And I said, hey, you guys, I recommend this spot. This is what I have. I would say maybe like 4 months later, someone messaged me and was like, hey, I went to that place that you went to. The egg rolls were good, but I ordered the hash something, and it was disgusting. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was disgusting. Why did you get that? I ain't recommend that.
Yeah.
That was... Or in turn, somebody else will like, baby, I would say, because most of the time, whenever I recommend something and people try what I recommend, 9 times out of 10, they're like, yes, that was good. Usually that other like 10% is because it's not their cup of tea or they didn't enjoy it. It wasn't nasty to them. It was just, it was all right, you know. So no, I don't post anything that I do not recommend.
Okay, so that's what you would do. So if you went there, you ordered 5 things and you only like 3, you would very specifically post about those 3.
Yeah. Okay. And there's been some times where I may mention the other 2 things and I'm like, hey, I tried the crab cake. It was all right. I mean, if you want to order that, that's on you, but these are the 3 things that I recommend.
Okay.
So is that for you personally, or is that the same rule when you're doing these doing the food critics or food reviews for the company? Because like when you're going out doing the reviews with, you know, for them,
for City Paper,
like you're not paying your money, are you, for this food?
No, they're covering it.
Yeah. So like, how does that work? Because they're giving you food for free, or it's covered.
Yeah, it's covered. Yeah.
So they're expecting in turn to get
Honesty.
some honesty or a good review?
Oh yeah. Oh no.
You see where I'm going? Because it's like it's almost just like, Candace, I'm gonna do this work for you for free. I'm expecting that good post on Instagram, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So like, how does that work?
I'm selective about what I order.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to order something
You
that
make
I know
sure.
I'm not going to like. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm not going to. Y'all know one of the things, I hate peas so much. So because of that,
why
they're nasty.
Like fresh peas,
They're disgusting.
I'm okay with fresh
peas. Are
Canned
right.
peas are gross. Like the ones that you used to get when you had mixed vegetables when you was a kid, gross, mushy. But fresh peas, like a snow pea, I can get with a snow pea.
Trash. All the peas are trash.
They all right.
But no, they not.
I'm with you, Kate.
But no, I'm definitely selective. So like, I won't order anything that I do not think I will like.
Okay.
Because then in turn, I'm not going to recommend it because I'm not going to order the thing with peas and be like, oh, maybe I will like it. And then I eat it and I'm like, nope, still don't like peas. That's going to be a waste of time to be like, hey guys, I tried the thing with the peas that I know I'm not going to like and I still don't like it. Like, I'm not going to waste my time with that. So I definitely check the menu. Like, look at the whole menu. Same thing when you go out to eat. You're not going to order something that you know you're not going to like.
Yeah.
I do the same thing for food blogging.
Okay.
And like I think that will also help me to like luck out with not ordering something bad because I know what I will like. Maybe there's a random ingredient in there that's a little bit different that I'm curious about. But essentially, I end up either loving or liking everything that I've ordered. Every now and then I'm like, that ain't for me, but this person liked it. So I'll still post it because at least somebody that I was with did like what we ate.
Okay. Got you. So what's the commitment that you have? Like, how many times do you have to provide a review when you're working with the,
or how many posts or comments?
Oh, okay. With the city paper, it's it's 1 or 2 reviews a month.
Okay.
1 or 2 reviews.
Yeah.
And like, so when you go in, did you have any leverage to like negotiate that with them to say like, well, my time, or because like whatever, it could be the case. It's like, hey, I'm busy, or do you mind if I only do it once a month or whatever? Oh,
no. So I didn't have to negotiate anything because they put that out there. They said, hey, this
is what they want.
1 or 2 reviews a month. It has to be this many words.
Okay.
Like they made it clear what the position was.
They wanted.
Which is why I did apply. I'm like, I literally already do this, so why not just finally get paid for it? So.
And so currently, beyond the city paper, who is covering your food when you go out, do other carry-out places cover you food when you order?
So it depends. So I want the true experience when I go out to eat. So because of that, when I visit a place that's new, I don't tell them that I'm coming.
Okay.
I know a lot of other food bloggers, they may do that. They'll reach out and say, hey, just as a heads up, I'll be stopping by. Tell me what you recommend. Sometimes that gives them free food, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm not worried about the free food. Like, I'm worried about telling y'all about where to go. That's the thing about the food blogging thing. You got to be prepared to like never get paid for it.
Okay.
Like, if I was not doing the city paper and still doing this for free, no monetization at all, I would still be doing it because I really love what I do. Keep that in mind. If you think about the money that's coming in, it ain't for you.
Yeah, because I could see how, because generally, so the traditional food critic doesn't tell anybody that they're coming. Like if you were in the fine dining restaurant game, which you have been, right? They just show up. And sometimes once they show up, there's like murmuring like, I think that's him. Right, that's got to be him.
Like, that wasn't a reservation name. Ain't that Tom Season? That's Tom.
So you get to know them once you know what I mean? And it's like a whole conversation, and then hopefully you get your best game on once you recognize. But sometimes you never know, right? You just, all of a sudden something comes out on the paper and you be like, when did he come? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's the thing about you right now that's a little bit untraditional or non-traditional. That's the wine. Non-traditional is that people do know your face.
Yeah.
But they may not know when you place the order that it was you. So you try to keep it as authentic as possible.
Yeah, because I have a very generic name. First name at least. Like, no one's going to know, like, oh, Crystal, okay, whatever. She wants a burger or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to keep that food as authentic as possible so that when I post that burger on my page, when people order that same burger,
that's the experience you get.
Yeah, it won't be like they'll look at the burger and be like, wow, that's a really big juicy burger. They put all these toppings on here. It's positioned this way. you know, like how McDonald's is. You look at the menu and the burger this big on the picture, but when you get it, it's this small.
Yeah,
everything's on there though, and it tastes like how it's supposed to taste, but it don't look like how it's supposed to look.
Gotcha.
I make sure that the food looks like what you about to get. So if you look at my page, sometimes my pictures are still in those takeout containers because it's like I ain't about to take that food out and put it on a plate. But what? It's takeout.
Yeah, this is true.
It's takeout. You might even see a plastic fork in the rice.
Yeah,
it's takeout. Yeah,
it's
so
takeout.
It has to be authentic. I want people to know what they're getting.
Gotcha. So, you know, we're called stream chasers, all about getting multiple income streams. So, like, you know, we talked about some of the ways that you can tap into, you know, the different incomes with this, through monetization, through social media,
through your blog,
through the blogs, the whole thing. Like, do you have any other aspirations or things that you would like to tap into when it comes to like this industry?
Oddly enough, before the city paper even came up, I was trying to figure out like, okay, how am I going to monetize the skinny food whore? So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to focus more on recipes so that I can get that blog traffic so that I can eventually sign up for these platforms that will pay me to have people on my blog. That's what I thought I was going to focus on. Okay. And then just do the still review takeout spots that I was already doing. But I wanted to focus on the recipe stuff until the city paper came out with that position. But the city paper is definitely one way. I'm still going to be striving to get monetization on my blog, but again, that's going to take some time because I'm not doing that full time. Gotcha. I'm doing that. Is it even part time? It's like quarter time. I'm doing it quarter time, so it's going to take a while. Yeah. But I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. Like a lot of food bloggers they'll make courses. They'll do cooking classes online that you have to pay a ticket for, and then you know, really easy, like a $25 ticket to cook online with somebody. And if you got 4 viewers that's watching, it don't matter. You made $100 an hour. Yeah, real simple. What else? A lot of people they'll come up with a spice line. That's a very popular thing right now. Especially when COVID hit. A lot of at home chefs, you know, like a seasoning blend. They'll make that in home. Realize they can make batches of it, and then now they're selling that. What else? Merchandise. That's one thing I was thinking about, and I had asked it in my stories one time. Like, hey, you guys, if I made like some type of merch that mentions the skinny food whore or something like food related that's fun, would y'all buy? And most people said, hell yeah. So I'm like, now I'm thinking, like even this shirt.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because I'm looking.
I was going to comment on that, but go ahead.
Okay, so you peeped it too.
Yeah. I felt it was fitting to wear this today.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Black History Month, and your support. Yeah, you know, support foodies of color. Like, is there a difference in the foodie game with people of color and not?
It's a difference in every game for anybody of color.
Well, this is true, but maybe because I don't be enough, it still applies the non-seasoned. So it's still. I don't be out here following the folks that don't use the seasoning, so I don't be knowing.
Gotcha.
You know? Lord.
All right. Okay, so there's a difference.
No, it really is. Yeah, like it's true. Just like any other field, when it comes to people of color, it's harder for us.
But it's mostly that way.
It's mostly men, yeah. And even for me, like it was hard for me to be. I lucked out with the coworkers that I had my whole career. Cause I've heard some stories from some other women in the culinary field, and they're like, I quit because of my coworkers. They didn't respect me and things like that. And I'm like, y'all had disrespectful coworkers. My coworkers love me. They treated me like I was a sister. Yeah. Even we were different races, and they still treated me like a sister. Like they understood. But yeah, it's a hard field for women.
Gotcha.
And specifically Black women.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, we do have a different. Yeah.
Okay, so we thinking about merch.
Yeah.
You got on the Foodies of Color, so you supporting somebody's merch.
Yeah. I won it in a raffle, and like anytime that I do anything like food blogging related, I'm like, I'm gonna grab this shirt, because the other shirt I have, it says Foodie of Color. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got 2 shirts, so it just depends on my mood.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I like it. I like it.
This one just happened to have like less cat fur on it, so I'm gonna wear this one. Get my lint roller real quick.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Understood. You know, I even saw, as we talk about wrapping up, talking about different streams of income, I even actually saw a food blogger, food personality is what I'm going to call this person, who has a food blog website now that charges $1 per recipe. Yep, so they only post clips on the Instagrams and the social medias, and I sound like I'm 85 on the Instagrams. But anyway, on the Instagrams they post clips. But and me, because clips I cook clips of them cooking the finished meal, whatever, right, to get you interested, and because I am gifted in the kitchen, I can reverse engineer that without the dollar pay.
Like you can look at it.
I can look at it and see.
And know.
But most people, I would say, I don't know about most. I'll say most.
It's most.
Okay, most people probably couldn't do that and need to know. And $1 ain't nothing. I could give you $1 off my PayPal real quick. Bop, 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 done. And I was like, And I guess that's a way to get around having to wait the years for the ad dollars, for the clicks, for the all the things.
Yeah, that's a really quick.
Yeah, and $1 per person is 300 people clicking on that $1 today. Yeah, that's $300.
It could be 25 people. That $25. That covers the groceries that you made for the recipe. Yeah.
So Instagram actually, I don't know when it's launching, but they've actually have announced that they're moving to something that's going to benefit those type of people who have like these type of businesses or whatever content you have. But basically on your Instagram page you'll be able to have subscribers to your Instagram page. So and basically they're saying it's going to put out people like the Patreons and some of the other platforms like that, because Instagram is dominating the social media world.
Meta
so now
is dominating.
So now at this point, like you said, if Crystal really she can start charging for all these little things that she's doing. It's like, hey, you want it?
The thought would be that on my subscriber page I would put things
you're going to get a little bit more than what the average person, or if you haven't subscribed to pay this $1 or whatever she charges, you'll see just the first pepper shake.
You don't know what I just sprinkled.
The pepper shake, and then a finished product. But you ain't gonna see everything else in between that. But if you subscribe to Skinny Food Whore, you get the whole thing. But it's about to take off, and all the little.
I mean, and if I'm this food personality that I was talking about, I would, rather than maintaining a website where you have to pay the $1 and you gotta build the whole profile. If I could do it just on Instagram, sounds good to me.
Keep it easy.
I mean,
because then it ain't got to look all polished.
Exactly. It's more just like this is. I also learned
that food photography is a thing.
Yep, that's the one thing that is different.
Like the photographers in that area.
So what the thing you were saying as far as like buying the recipe, that is a very quick and easy fix, like very simple to do.
Yeah.
That's also a new thing. Like, had I known this was a thing like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would have been on it.
Yeah.
Too late. Because I already have a full blog and I'm paying like $250 a year for it. Too late. I'm not canceling that blog.
Okay.
But the food photography is also what makes a difference. That's actually, to backtrack to the question that you asked earlier, as far as like what other stream of income, food photography. That's a very big one. So there's some recipe developers that just photograph their own stuff. Maybe they have brands that reach out and they're like, hey, we looked at your website. We see that you use flour for your cookies. Can you redo your pictures and use our product in your pictures to promote our flour brand? And photographers can charge $500 just to reshoot their own picture, their own recipe that they've already done. It's just like, oh, I just got to put your flour in the background. I bet, give me $500. Okay, here you go.
Yeah,
easy.
In your post, do you tag any of the manufacturers?
Yes and no. So it has to deal with what I've learned about some brands using people's content without permission, because it's a copyright thing. So like my pictures that I put, brands have to like ask me, hey, can I put it on our Instagram page? Which I don't have a problem with that, but there's some brands that don't know or don't understand, like, hey, this food blogger or photographer put in time to do this setup. They deserve to get paid for their work. They'll take their picture and use it for like their on their website, which they should be getting paid for. Like if King Arthur takes my cookie recipe and puts it on their website, I want to get paid for it because people are looking at this picture and possibly buying your flour because they saw my biscuits that I made.
So I mean, King Arthur
doesn't do that.
But it's just
they
that was just an
understand the
example.
game. But like say like smaller companies, like they're promoting their business with somebody else's pictures and possibly monetizing off of your picture. That photographer should be getting paid something.
I think that's a misunderstanding when you're a smaller company,
and like marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's just a misunderstanding. As a small, it might be nefarious. They might be doing it on purpose.
Some are,
right, maliciously. And I'm sure there are some that do, but some of it could be just a smaller misunderstanding of how social media works on the business side. Because like as a personal side, Crystal and I are in a photo together. Crystal tags me. Of course, if she's tagging me, I have right to share that photo to my page because she tagged me in it. And so
it's in the public
some
already.
of them misunderstand that just because I tag your flower doesn't mean I'm giving you permission to share that photo, or just because your flower is in it. It is merely to get your attention. Right?
See that I'm promoting you.
Yes.
And I'm promoting you again. And
it's
again.
Like, me waving. It's like,
hey,
reach out to me.
Exactly.
Reach out to me.
And some will just take it and share it, and that'll be that. Like,
dang, I never thought about that.
It's all so just to answer the question, yes, I have tagged some brands. Some of those brands have followed me, but again, this was like early on in the game where I was like, I want to be noticed. So now it's more so at the point where you have to reach out to brands and say, hey, here's my portfolio, which is my Instagram is my portfolio. And I have 2 years worth of content that I can say, look at the things. I can do things. You want to do things? Here's my price for the things. And then from there, they'll either bite it or we can negotiate something. So that's actually my next move is getting paid for either doing the photography or possibly just doing recipe development. That's the behind the scenes thing. So again, to going online for the recipes, I know you don't know this Kayla, you don't know about going online for recipes, but Candace, so have you ever noticed when you go online, let me think of, I'll say a more popular website, so like foodnetwork.com.
Okay.
The photo of the food, you may see the name under it, and it's not Paula Dean that took that picture. Yes. It's Karen Watson.
Whomever. Yes.
Yeah. Karen Watson just happened to cook it and take a picture, but that is Paula Dean's recipe. Karen got paid that money. Okay. She probably got paid $500, maybe $1,000. So that's another a new thing. It's just take someone's recipe for the wine, photograph it, and the other one is just really recipe development, making up a recipe for a brand.
Oh, okay.
So you'll go on their website and you'll say, okay, I want to buy this fancy flour because it's gluten-free flour or something like that. And then you'll see a list of recipes. You may see a few people's different name because they came up with that recipe, but they didn't do any photos. They're just like, this is the recipe I came up with. I'm trash at pictures though. Hey, Karen, can you take these pictures for me? So sometimes there's 3 people involved on a recipe, just on one recipe. Okay. The developer, the photographer, the person that's actually writing the blog post on it is sometimes it's a bunch of people doing just one recipe.
I'm here for it.
Go ahead.
Food stylist, that's a whole nother one.
But that's like decorating the plate.
Yeah, so sometimes the person taking the picture is not the person that set up the picture.
The person that did the smear on the plate.
It's many things. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Put that little sauce.
Make sure you see that little extra pretty flour in the background. Like it's all about they're styling the food and making sure
they teach all that in culinary.
Nope.
They don't, because everybody that I know that go to culinary school be having the bomb setups on the plates.
My school, they were more focused on like do what tastes good, but also keep in mind when I went to culinary school, it wasn't about the visual.
It wasn't like how it is now.
Like now it's different.
Because Amari's in culinary.
Oh, that's right.
And my other man down in Atlanta's in culinary, and some of the stuff that he be posting, it's like trying to be looking amazing already.
Back in 04.
It wasn't all.
It was like, does it taste good?
String beans, mashed potatoes, meatloaf. It's pretty. It look good. It smells good. That's how we worried about. Okay. Yeah. Now food is definitely a lot more of an art than it was before. So that's why the food stylist comes into play because. And I'll even say for myself, I got to get better at. I mean, you guys may not think this, but I got to get better at my food styling. But to outside people is, that looks amazing. And I'm like, what do you mean? You don't see that crumb on the corner that I forgot to edit out?
Now I'm going to be looking for the crumb. You're gonna,
is that a cat hair on the edge of the plate?
Not a cat hair.
I've seen it before.
There's a video on I can't. There's a video on I don't want to say it's like BuzzFeed, but let's call it BuzzFeed. One of those popular video sites where it talks about, or like one of their crafty sites or whatever, where they talk about food styling and some of the tricks of the trade and certain things, like instead of putting syrup on pancakes, there's motor oil, right? In the picture, and it's because it's the same color as syrup, and it doesn't soak into the pancake, so it works better for the pictures. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Because you're photographing for like 30 minutes straight.
So it's just so that it doesn't like
so it can
like ice cream. A lot of the ice cream pictures is mashed potatoes.
Because potatoes
ice cream is going to melt in 2 minutes.
Exactly. And there was one that was like with cereal.
And you gotta get the shot.
You gotta get the shot. And you think about how your cereal, when you put it in a bowl, sinks to the bottom of milk, right? There's like glue, and they just place the cereal on top, so it's always look like it's kind of like floating. Like
it was the milk look all white and stuff.
And it looks like the whitest milk you've ever seen. I was like, I was blown away by this video. I watched it like twice because I wanted to know.
I had so I don't use any of those food tricks yet. Mine is more so of setting up the scene. So I had I actually posted a video about it. I might make it a reel just to blow some more people's minds. So I have a chili recipe, and I had a whole bunch of smaller bowls, and I'm like, I don't want to fill up all these bowls with chili, because I had 3 bowls of chili in the picture, which is a good 6-8 cups worth of chili that I don't want to put in bowls to take back out. So I took, you know, like the when you get the half and half from the carry out, that plastic container. I took those lids, put it in the bowl, and I only had to use like a half a cup of chili on top of that. On top of the, and then still put the toppings on there, and it sat up like how it was supposed to sit up.
Gotcha.
So when I posted it in my stories one day, I was like, hey y'all, look at this picture, it looks nice, right? Let me show you something. So I just like casually was like, ooh, it's chili. Took out the spoon, dug in, and just took a whole lid out. Everyone was like, Crystal, time the F out. What did you just do? What sorcery is this? And somebody was like, you're done. I don't trust you no more. And I'm like,
but it's a thing. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's tight.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all learned a lot today. I don't care what nobody say. I think we done covered the most income streams ever, probably in this episode.
Possibly.
I named like 7 things.
Because I mean, we went over food styling, food photography, recipe development. So really, if your collard greens hitting like that, you need to be, and you don't want to open up a kitchen, you need to be looking into recipe development. Okay, if you that
people will buy,
so that's just like selling
just selling the ability to cook, right? So here's, I am Domino's sugar. I want recipes with my brown sugar, and you come up with them. And if you like that, be like that for Domino's or whomever. Domino's, don't be taking my content. Right. So there was food styling, there was food photography, recipe development,
the virtual cooking,
the virtual cooking classes, merchandise,
spice blends. I mean, there's cookbooks,
Ghost Kitchen,
Ghost Kitchens, your commercial kitchens, food trucks, recipe critics, food critics. It just the list,
the actual blog post,
all the things, the actual thing that we came here to discuss, the blog post. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, I know I'm missing some stuff.
And all of these are really outside of the traditional things that people think of when you think about going to a restaurant. It's not a hostess, it's not a server, it's not a chef, it's not a sous chef, it's not a restaurateur,
it's not a dishwasher.
It's not a dishwasher. It's none of the things you think about when you think about you going to Chili's on Friday night.
But like this is why it's
I ain't
good.
seen Chili's in a long time.
Just to like for people out there as like a motivation, because I'm sure there's people out there who is sitting around saying like, I wish I could just do something in the food industry,
right?
You know, because that's my passion, and someone's probably telling them, "Oh, there's no money in that,"
or you gonna fail,
or whatever. It's like you just heard all these streams like Candace and Crystal talked about, like pursue your passion and find your lane.
Find it. I mean, and if you already are in a lane, so if you are already a photographer, add food photography to your list.
Yep.
Do that.
But if you don't do it, know your lane.
If you don't do it, know your lane. But if you're already a photographer,
right? Like somebody asked me before, back when I first started photography, and was like, "Hey, do you do food photography?" I'm like, "No."
Yes,
because it looks too good. Like I will send you to somebody else that might be able to do it, but I'm not gonna jeopardize. Don't jeopardize yourself.
No, don't jeopardize
or
yourself.
Your brand.
Or your brand.
Just trying to get $1.
Don't do that. Exactly. But if you happen to be good at it, or if you take a class and you're like, I'm interested in it, and it's another stream of income I can add because now I do headshots and I do food photography, then sure, why not? You know?
No, that's you got to know what you are
Yeah.
You think Tiff is a closed stylist? You think she could style a burger?
Hey.
It's not how that works.
Okay. Well, I tried. I was just wondering. I mean, could she make the burger fly? I'm just wondering. Anyway.
Burger fly.
Oh, Crystal,
the lettuce just like
exactly a little bit of get her with a
lettuce hanging off
spritz
the
on the
side.
lettuce because I feel like she had the jazz.
But when you put creative people in a room together,
this is what I'm saying.
people come up with
exactly
cool stuff. It's like I'm just sitting here. It's funny that you said something about Tiff. I wasn't thinking about her specifically, but I was like thinking about. It's like imagine if you be all this guy in the room. It's like Crystal, Amari, just coming from their background, a Tiff, and think about the things that will
happen.
Just from discussion or whatever. Like, it would be tight.
Maybe we'll put them in a room on a Facebook group.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Facebook.
So Stream Chasers, it has been an episode. We have done some things. I think my producer's looking at me like, Candace, you let this one go. And it's fine because usually I keep an internal clock with these things, but today we just let it flow.
It's the 1 year.
It's the 1 year episode. Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations to you. Okay.
Yes.
So we thank you, Crystal, for stopping by today, for doing the things. We appreciate it, for talking about the things.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Where can the people find you?
Oh, let me tell you.
Because some people going to be connecting. I already know.
Here we go, guys. Do not be alarmed by my name, okay? Especially the fellas. The guys hate saying my handle.
Yeah.
Girls love saying my handle. So on Instagram and the TikToks, it is The Skinny Food Whore. So that's TheSkinni food whore. So WHORE. I love that handle. So and Twitter is Skinny Food Whore. So without the. And my website is theskinnyfoodwhore.com.
That's where she
I think I covered everything. Yep, that was all for you. Nice. And if you have Pinterest, I'm on there too. I only have like 4 followers.
Oh, I'll follow you on Pinterest. My Pinterest be popping.
Mine is not.
Okay. I was looking at the people be shading Pinterest, but my follower count is up there on the Pinterest. Okay. But any Hoosers, this has been an episode of the Stream Chasers because we're the Stream Chasers today because we're the Instagrams, the TikToks. It's just the kind of day. Okay. You can find us on the interwebs at www.streamchasers.work because Stream Chasers
do the work.
Because you got to do the work. If you don't do the work, none of this matters. Okay. Also, you can find us on the Instagrams at Stream Chasers. You can or Stream.Chasers. The YouTubes. Or the YouTubes at Stream Chasers. Where else are we? I think that's it. That's YouTube,
Instagram.
Instagram.
Okay.
Yes, YouTube, Instagram, and then the regular.
The Spotify's.
Oh, and the Spotify's. Right. This is a podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
So Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, the Spotify's, the places. Okay. And my producer told me everywhere. That's where we are. So we appreciate you again. It's
and make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe. You follow. You like. You share. You comment. All the things. We want to hear your comments, by the way. We like to hear what you have to say. I know y'all be sliding in the DMs, but it's okay to post a public comment.
Yeah, you can put it on public.
People be sliding in the DMs.
Well, I appreciate the text.
Yeah.
But the people want to see, because like you might have some good comments or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Some good insight, if you will. And it helps us, right? Feedback helps us. So we like to see what the people have to say. Anyway, it has been an episode, and with that, you just got paid.
Just got paid.